This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio. When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die.
What is up, everyone? It's your main man, your Sorcerer Supreme, right here, each and every Saturday night on True Frequency Radio. Me, Frank Castle, Supremo, and I'm here with my etherical translator.
Hey everyone.
And resident Khaleesi. She's getting so excited that Game of Thrones is coming back. I'm pretty excited now too.
It's a big April. We'll talk about that, Sayer.
Well, because of dragons and
oh my
stuff.
Goodness, you have no idea.
Yeah, word up. So all right, so shout outs to Chris and Cherie Gio. Love you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing stuff like this. Nothing like this. I don't think anything like this. What do you think? Something like this?
No, not even.
Don't forget to go to fearless.com.
Buy a t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt. You know, we got a lot of stuff in there. I sent Chris for Christmas, and it's just because he showed it on air. Beyond the Veil pillow, right? So you could go there and you could support Chris if you want. You get Beyond the Veil pillow. There's some other stuff. There's a ayahuasca shirt.
I'm wearing my
Fearless Tribe shirts.
I'm wearing my Fearless Tribe t-shirt now.
Mm-hmm. With great artists from all over the world coming together to do something really special. And, they get 50% of everything that's sold in the store, so we could help all support and build that pyramid together with that unbreakable, unshakable foundation. wearefearless.com. Don't forget to check it out and get a subscription at TFR. You like what you hear? Do you like what you hear?
I like what I hear all the time.
I love what I hear. Shout outs to Ra, Eye of Ra. I love you guys so much. This is great. All right, so we had an intense week again.
Oh, yeah, this was the week of adulting for sure.
I had to, all right, so check it out. If you would like to join the Fearless TFR group, go to the group section in Facebook, right? Throw down, I want to join, and then answer the question. You have to answer the question or I can't let you in. Sorry. It's just how it works. But I broke down this week during one of the meditations. It wasn't even a meditation. It was me having to talk and then doing like a little 7-minute meditation. But damn, that emotion. Like I get emotional sometimes. Like on the show.
You were very emotional.
Like I was on camera crying. Yeah. I was like bugging out. It's not easy. The energies aren't easy. The tests aren't easy because they are tests. We're testing ourselves. We're learning, having experience, and that builds this wisdom. It creates this wisdom down the road by having these experiences, whether you feel you're passing or failing the situation. And if you screw up somewhere else down the line, as long as you kind of forgive yourself, it'll reappear again. If you feel like the choice wasn't made correctly or whatever.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Paula and I have discussed prior to us and then us. right? So all the things that have ever been a bad choice in a relationship, or you wish it could have been like that, or wish I would have said this instead of that, because you just didn't know any better. I'm just a dummy, right? With Paula and I, we thought, oh, here it goes again, another relationship. You know, is this going to work? And there's already restrictions and all kinds of weird stuff we put in front of things. And then as we broke through that, and it took work, we began to realize that we were having all of these first times again.
Yeah.
Right?
That was special. Because, you know,
it's still happening. First times go, oh, you just left me alone in the kitchen with dinner.
I know. It was great.
All right. So we're building the foundations, and you do get back the time.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny, too, because we talked about that the other day. When Frank and I first met, we had each other to talk about all of this crazy stuff with. And, you know, Frank explained to me the beings that he sees and the information that they give him. And, you know, everything is a learning experience and why we go through certain things. And, you know, I said to him, don't worry about feeling like you wasted time, because we get our time back. We get everything back when it's right. And, you know, typical Frank, you don't know what you're talking about. We're not going to, I lost all this time, all my life. And I said, no, you're going to get it all back. You're going to watch and see. You'll get it back. But you don't decide when it comes to you.
Or who you're with.
Yeah, or how it's going to happen. It just comes.
The universe doesn't allow you to step in there and say, I want it like this. It's always the way you need it, not the way you want it.
So this was a conversation that we had 4 years ago. And now Frank is seeing over the last 2 years how we really are getting all of that time back. And it's almost like we were calling it like a do-over. You get a do-over in your life. You get to do it the way you want to do it.
If that is what you desire. Deep down, like not what you wake up every day and you kind of, man, I wish it was like this. Internally, deep down inside, I've realized that I've always been searching for you. Now, back then, I couldn't have had
me
a clue.
Too. I have to say the same thing.
Every
Me
size
too.
of every woman I've dated, every shape, every design, every category is all
that's sweet.
of their one or two things that jumped out at me to begin with. When I got to you, I was like, oh, so a beautiful person, beautiful mind, beautiful body, the way I see in my head the shape and what gets me, you know, whatever. And I would have never thought in a million years. I'm telling you, I was sitting with Chris looking at him after the first DMT experience. Like I would have never guessed this. You could have given me a month and said, here you go, man. We'll even give you some suggestions. I would have said that one's not.
Of course not.
That one's
of course
bullshit
not.
right there. That one's bullshit.
The closest thing I've ever seen in the media close to a DMT experience is the scene in Doctor Strange. When she opens his third eye.
Oh yeah,
and
she blasts him in the head.
He blasts out of the universe, and that's the only way to explain it. And that's not even giving it justice. It's something that really can't be explained.
It is the most unexplainable phenomenon that is incredibly awesome and incredibly frightening. Exactly what you need, and it's the reality behind the whole thing. One of the things we miss in today's society growing up is having a young man and going through his rite of passage, right? I always feel like that shamanistic approach to things, right? Mm-hmm. Where, and I think back to like 300 when they took the kid and they said, get out, like they throw him out and he has to make his way back. You have to be outside in the cold
in the
for a
movie,
month.
300?
Yeah. So you get... All right, back in the day, you would get your experience, your ayahuasca experience as a young man to clear the path, to clear the road. So you understand you're already one with it from such a young age that you're just walking through it. It's part of your diet. It's pretty interesting stuff. That was something I want to talk about now that we just kind of went right into the DMT stuff. A couple people have been asking me, and I've kind of tried to get into it a little bit just to hear it, but Alex Jones went on Joe Rogan. Okay, and I don't know. We don't normally do this kind of talking on the show, but for a few minutes, I'd like to.
Yeah, no, totally. And and I like Joe Rogan. I like the Joe Rogan podcast. I always find something relatable. I like most of the people that he has on. It's just something. I just enjoy listening to it. But Alex Jones caused such a problem in the media for Joe Rogan. Like, I don't understand why he had him on his podcast so soon. But you said they're friends, so
they're friends for 20 years. So.
I don't know, but
I know you saw what I was listening to one morning when it was I just played a clip on YouTube.
Of an Alex Jones rant about Joe Rogan.
Alex Jones goes after Joe Rogan, devil something or whatever. So, and DMT naturally, right? I saw that. I was like, oh, what is he saying? And I put it on. And naturally, this is just distraction, by the way. But I want to work into something here and explain something to you guys. He was like, I don't want your apologies or your friendship. I want war, right? Like he was doing that, and you were going, what? I'm like,
why would you want that? Yeah, listen to the words that are coming out of his mouth.
You don't understand.
Yeah,
boy. You work for this and that, and I was like, wow. So, all right. Then you have all these groups talking about how Rogan's co-opted and he already knows this stuff and doesn't talk about it because, he goes so far on the podcast and it's an awesome podcast. It's an open
it's way his prerogative
but he's
to
not
talk
out
about
there
what he wants to.
Like Alex is or whatever. So he comes back on to do the little, let me get back in, whatever. They're friends. They get back on. But this is my point of the whole distraction. Once again,
that whole thing I did was just a distraction. Dummy.
So he's like, I'm going to tell you how it is. Joe's like, tell me how it is. Explain it to me. And once again, we get interdimensional aliens, ETs, that the government, and that's a loose word, it's just pockets of people with power. Wow, there's a lot of P's in that. Running their tests, doing their scientific stuff and studies. Of course, the military is going to grab onto it. Be sure we're not. When I drank ayahuasca, I said, wow. And I smoked DMT. I'm like, we got to tell the world about this. And apparently the world already knew about it. I didn't know about it. Right. So.
But that's what happened. You get this nugget of information. However it comes to you, however you download the information and you say, we have to tell everyone, this will change everyone's life.
It'll change the world.
And then you try to do that and you see how people look at you and treat you and it's very strange. It's like you're a horrible person. But
as your light gets brighter,
yes,
it's the crab in the bucket syndrome.
Yes,
people
it is.
Drag you back
as
down
your light gets brighter, you vibrate higher. You're not vibrating on the same frequency with these people anymore. And it's very sad when it happens because you're faced with exactly what you have to let go. And you have to make a choice.
Absolutely. Now, to think that back in the day, whenever that date and time is, randomly multiple parties doing procedures, ceremonies, or injecting DMT into their body to keep them under longer.
Experiments.
Experiments to gain more knowledge and information and doing rituals and on and on and on. One of our earliest shows, I discussed how I was shown from the very start when Rick Straussman was doing his studies, right? Because Rick Straussman went to Albert Einstein College of Medicine, which is right here down the block. So my mother knows him, or she worked in the building with him, and they had lunch together many times, et cetera, et cetera. This is so long ago, we're going back 40 years, 45 years, right? Something like that. Whatever it was. So he's there doing those experiments. Now I'm smoking DMT, drinking ayahuasca, and they're like, let us show you something. So naturally, when Rogan talks about DMT, he always goes back to Terrence McKenna, Rick Straussman, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they show me this guy, and they say, this is Dr. Strauss. I'm like, okay. And he can't see me. Can't see the being I'm standing with. And I see all military men, and then him at one point, you could see him having an idea of putting people under, and then it becomes militarized at one time. It was almost like other people came in and took over.
Right.
And he didn't change his step because he knew he couldn't. Like he was in.
Right.
Right. If I say something against it, I'm out.
Right.
Or this is my work.
I can't be
whatever.
a part of it.
So he stays in, no problem. And they do all these things. They keep these guys under for 12 hours. Now I'm sitting there watching the guys come out of his body, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm over here. And they're like, he can't see you. I see all these beings come in, and they're all the jesters and whatever, the lower level stuff, right? The astral plane stuff. They come out and they start going, oh, we'll give you this and we'll give you that, and we'll give you this and we'll give you that. And as they start playing those games, they start getting information, but they don't realize in the astral realm, you're a target, right? You can bring in anything when you're under a DMT trip. All it takes is you get a little nervous all of a sudden, and the other guy comes in, and you can't even stop. You can't stop it. It's not like you can. Well, I was just talking to the good guys, and now I'm standing in front of a reptilian. And we're discussing things, and then they start giving orders on and on and on and on. So I'm watching from a higher perspective going, wait, all of you guys, and it was the dollhouse effect, Shiva and all the different characters from the Egyptian pantheon, they're all watching. They're all just looking down. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, you didn't think we knew that they were going to try to weaponize this? That immediately we were going to not allow them entrance to the higher realm? Immediately. Because you're coming in with that attitude to map the joint, right? To come over,
right? To
scout the area, send in some scouts. Like, they know that you're doing that. By the way, they are us. We are they, them. So they don't let you play games like that. But you don't know that. You're in there talking to these beings, right? So here's my point. So they weren't allowed up. They wound up talking to all different kinds of beings, but none of the higher value characters, right? And they go on and they try to weaponize stuff and do stuff with your mind and mind control. However they decide to do it, it always backfires on them when it comes to the LSD and mushrooms and all that. Okay, now let's go back to the show. Alex Jones comes on the show once again and delivers the speech. I'm going to tell you how it is. Interdimensional beings come out for rituals. They want blood. They're ETs, but they're not from outer space, and these beings are taken over, and blah, 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 on and on and on. Mm-hmm. Okay, so everyone is making fun of him like he's a big fat clown, right? Now, I'm not calling him that. I'm just saying that was
the impression that you got, yeah.
Headline. Okay, so now I don't agree with Alex across the board, but he's the guy that woke me up. My friend put me onto him a long time ago when I was already in a situation where I was waking up to political stuff. I didn't follow Alex, but I listened to him to get a little more open perspective. And in the background, he always floated these ideas. And I always thought back then that was a little crazy. I'm like, when he was talking about it, always leads back to this. Pedophiles and in the Vatican, and then it gets into interdimensional rituals and eating babies. I was like, what is this guy talking about?
But he was right.
Okay, so now we're sitting here today.
Yeah, you see.
We're on show 130. We're on Truth Frequency Radio, and we've discussed every single one of those topics in massive detail. Whether you agree with the guy or not, he's not lying. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm trying to...
No, I'm not trying to defend him either. I mean, I like listening to him, but the only thing I didn't like about the podcast is every time Joe Rogan asked a question, he never gave a direct answer.
Right, he jumps around.
To anything.
No, but he did, though. Later on,
later on, he went back and finished telling his point of view. He never really answered any of the questions directly. That's the only thing that kind of got me.
I do remember you were saying that a lot. You were like, bro, he's not answering. I'm like, yeah, you got to wait, because it was a 4.5 hour, 4 hours, 40-minute podcast. Okay, what they did, though, to put the flip on it, is Alex was demonizing ayahuasca and DMT. It's bad because they use it to connect to interdimensional. And I'm going to tell you right now that they're not smoking DMT to pursue that line of work. You can open dark portals without DMT for sure. Oh, you want the quick way to it? You could do a couple of hits of DMT. I don't suggest you do that because you're going to bring something in, but there's other things like Ouija boards and satanic rituals that you can do on your own.
You could just think hard enough and connect. That's all you have to do.
People need
No. But
the signs and symbols.
To be honest, right? If we want to really be honest, you don't need any psychedelic. You don't need anything. You can just tap into it just by thinking about it, and that's where I think people are. I don't understand why people are freaking out so much because you can get to the same place.
Well,
with a different modality.
It's almost like they clown. I agree. I agree with that.
I mean, you go into the shower and you connect with the water, and I never know where you're here, you're there, what's going on.
We watched the show the other day too, and the guy sat in the water.
Yeah.
And then he wondered why. Oh, it was Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, but it's a big
his
conductor.
Power was like jacked out, and I went, oh look, he's sitting in the bathtub,
Just
and he doesn't
like
know why his powers are working.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's when mine can go off. You turn the shower on, I go, ooh, boom, done. I'm already gone.
Frank's not allowed to lock the bathroom door ever after the fainting episode and hitting the toilet. So I just beg him, please don't lock the bathroom door. If anything happens, I can't get in.
I'm gonna come out of the bathroom one day sober and floating.
But you are, and I would be like, hey, could you
welcome? I'm Dr. Manhattan.
But that would be fine, right? It would be fine.
Oh, so we're using our made up names.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I want to show you guys a few things so we can just be open and honest about it. So we got Alex telling the truth, but he looks a little bit like a clown. The way he comes off, huffing and puffing like the big bad wolf, and Joe says this: you talk too fast, tell too many subjects, too much shit.
Yeah, slow it down.
For me, it just my heart feels like it's going to blow out of my chest.
That's how I feel when I'm watching Alex Jones.
5 minutes of me.
I get
and
like
then I start shaking.
Yes, me too. I get very nervous listening to him.
So the fear broadcast is there, so you can tell that's already negative in nature.
But I don't want to be afraid. I just want to get some information, and I want to get in and get out.
On the lowest level, I think he just shakes people because that's what happened to me when I first heard him. I never heard a guy do that.
Yes.
So I went, oh, I'm awake. After a year, I couldn't listen to him hard anymore.
It's hard.
I was hanging out with Adam Kokesh, and Adam Kokesh is like, why do you listen to him? And I'm like, well, I'm hanging out with you, and you're just as crazy as he is on this end. And I started to see the background scenes that were going on. Rock star, by the way. Many steps. You could connect me right into the ethos. But, okay. He looks like a clown talking about rituals, baby eating, mixed with shaman, DMT, and ayahuasca. No plus sides are ever revealed out of his mouth.
Yeah.
It's always government this and testing that and scientists and talking to the intimate. Okay. I do this. Okay. I do what Alex was shouting about, but all of the good stuff that he doesn't mention. None of it comes out, right? So what he was talking about, it's all fear-based. I had dreams when I was a kid, and this happened. Right, because you're a shaman, you're refusing to even step into the experience.
Yeah.
Okay, now being part of mass media, the big media, and now being that like Joe being a top guy, it's almost like he's trying to be, they make it look like, well, I'll be a voice of reason and a good friend. And then and then Joe's going, well, I know. Now, as they were talking, so many things that you ridicule him for, he literally showed and told the truth.
I agree.
In that crazy, eccentric thing. So they're blowing that way out of proportion because, look, it's the clown saying.
I agree. I agree.
It's Woody Harrelson in that movie standing on the mountain like, I knew it was real, and the wave hits him and just kills him. The conspiracy guy. Like that. That guy's based on Alex Jones. Now, I'm not, once again, defending. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, if there is anything. But you can tell that there's a demonization, for sure. Because he has a platform that it's that big. They got 12 million people, that heard that in 24, 48 hours, whatever it was. So instantly putting the vibe out there like, yo, you're going to have babies being eaten kind of if you smoke this and do this.
But you have a lot. We talked about.
None of the responsibility that you can take as a human being to just do what you got to do to find the information out about yourself, the God within you.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know if he's not showing that side of him. You know, he's just a very anxious man. Like, just, you know, I'm just afraid he's going to have a heart attack.
I feel like there might be something in the background trying to steer people away, but at the same time revealing the truth. See, that's how the enemy does
But he
it,
is
right?
revealing the
they
truth.
have to tell
I do
you what
believe
they're
he's
doing,
revealing the truth.
and then they make it a certain way. So it's kind of a turnoff. Like, yo, you're going to see a demon, so you might as well just not do it because you're going to be drinking baby blood. So if I told you that, that might...
Then you'd be like, no, thank you.
Frank just said?
No, thank you. I'm good.
I'm going to see a demon,
Yep.
and then there's going to be baby blood. Like, what?
Right.
And then you're going to have sex and gay frogs, and you got to sing the DMT remix, house remix by, Truth Frequency. And then you're like, wait, I'm not doing that. Right now, you just removed all those people that were like on the line. You scared the crap out of them.
Yeah.
You murdered the situation for them. Because they're kind of like, well, he's with Joe and they're talking. But all right, so as they were going, they discussed stuff like the moon landing, right? They were arguing about that. Okay. They were arguing about flat Earth, all the distractions. I'm like, it's pretty obvious at this point that we went to the moon. They faked footage, so you didn't see what was there. They claimed that it was destroyed. Next, Apollo 13 exploded. Why are there 6 of them still alive? Right? All right. Well,
wow,
that was really quick. All right. So all the things they were going through, government tests on people, everything is true. Everything is real. So what are you crying and complaining about? Stick around. We're fearless. We're not messing around anymore. Hey, man. I'm messing around. Back. Taking off the world off.
Or just having a conversation.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are DFR, your protection from deception.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
Hey, if you like the music, check out Heist Click, HEISTCLICK, and on that page you'll find the 2 hit singles, I would say, from Frank Castle. Come Alive, which is the song you just heard, and Hate Me, which is the sophomore follow-up to that track, which is pretty angry and aggressive.
It's a very angry song.
Not quite as aggressive as my brother, but I was going to do it. And I said, no, we're not up to that yet, so I don't want to go there quite yet. But, all right, so I want to just say something about the gay frog comments, too, right? Like, I know it's funny. It's fun to make fun of Alex, but he says things off the cuff, and he is nuts, for sure. Okay, I'm going to ask Paula, though, right? We're going to qualify the joke. Paula.
Yes, Frank.
So the frog is changing its gender due to the chemicals in the environment that are so overwhelmingly destroying the ecosystem or becoming part of that ecosystem now.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not that it's turning the frogs gay.
No, it's changing their gender. Just like our children, these kids are going through puberty so much earlier than they were years ago. It's the chemicals,
shots,
it's in the food,
steroids,
it's in everything.
And no, Paula was not in Heist Click. My brother was in Heist Click and a whole bunch of other guys throughout time over 20 years. And you can check out my brother over at the Red Cup Review. His name is Rob Banks. Go figure. Rob Banks, the Heist. Frank Castle, the Face Man. Yeah, we had some stuff going on back then. But you're right. Kids are growing up way quicker. My nephew,
physically,
7,
look,
he has underarm hair and he smells like a man now.
Yes, and he's 7 years old.
And I'm like,
yes,
deodorant, please.
And he's 7. He's going to be 8 years old.
I saw a picture of the girl that had, she was the only girl with boobs that I grew up with, like when I was in St. Clair's. She was the only girl that had boobs. Everybody had.
Well, St. Clair's is elementary, so it's kindergarten through sixth grade.
Yeah. And I remembered how we thought it was weird, but everyone loved her, right?
Of course they did.
Right? But but there was one. Now they all look like her, younger.
I know.
That's rough.
It is.
So what do you guys think that's doing that? So, okay, so it's the method and the delivery system of some guy screaming it so you guys can all play, oh, hate that guy, or this is that, or he's working for that guy, and this is, so you guys are just really digging in deep into the rabbit holes instead of just paying attention to the messenger. So you're shooting the messenger once again. It doesn't matter if it comes from Rogan or Alex Jones or this or that. Now, here we go. Watch this. Paula, last night, Paula.
I get this when Alex Jones talks about it.
Jones calls them gay frogs.
He does this to me all day.
Okay, so last night I was watching G.I. Joe, 1987, the movie from 1987. I talk about this on the show, about how I'm watching G.I. Joe, and then a movie comes out one day. I was totally unaware there was a movie that came out. It was on Channel 9. They played it. So I had to watch it, and it was with commercials and stuff. And it's a cartoon. Very adult. All of a sudden, there's these underground snake men characters that start coming up out of the ground and just, when I mean murdering G.I. Joe guys, those are shows where people shoot at each other the whole time and never get hit, like the A-Team. We're all just shooting and blowing. These things came out and started eating people, right? They were like, yo, the plants were attacking them. Now, I talk about the Snake Men on the show, the Serpentor character, Cobra Commander, where we find out Cobra Commander was really from Inner Earth. He was a humanoid. He was blue. He's actually blue. He was injected with these spores, and he grew the snake eyes he grew multiple eyes on his head.
Right.
And then put the mask on so you couldn't see it.
So why is that so hard to believe?
Wait, so the whole time we all think he's just the head of the terrorist organization.
Right.
So they go around, and I forgot about this. This is why I wanted to tell you. I was so excited last night. They build this guy Serpentor, right? Why would you call this guy Serpentor? First of all. Second of all, maybe because he's the new leader of Cobra. But they get DNA. They steal DNA from 12 of the most gangster dudes all time. Genghis Khan, Stalin, Hitler. Like, they go through this list.
Right. And they're pulling all the
these
DNA.
Spartan characters, and they put all the DNA into one guy mixed with the commander's DNA.
Right.
Who's now partial snake blue guy from Inner Earth.
Right.
So this guy comes out. He's wearing this Cobra outfit, and he's taking over. And, all right, so the Joes follow the Cobra guys who were trying to steal the device that was infinite energy for human beings.
Right.
Free energy.
Right.
This is 1987. Wait.
Right.
So they chase the remaining bits of Cobra after a giant fight, and Cobra Commander goes, come with me, I know this place over the hill. And they go into this side of the mountain, and these insectoids coming out of the living plants attack the G.I. Joes, right? And you find out that they're genetically harvesting people and creating hybrid insects.
Right. And what do I tell you? Everything starts out a story, right? Like the guy didn't we watch that documentary about the guy who sold the story to Steven Spielberg about Close Encounters for the Third Kind? It was supposed to be a documentary, and the government decided, or some sect of the government decided, not to give him the rights to the footage. Okay?
Okay.
Because they didn't want the story told. So he sold his story to Steven Spielberg. So the story still got...
What movie did he make?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But the story still got out. They changed the name and the time and the dates and the location.
You told me this when I first met you.
The story is the story.
They put it out under, what is it, nonfiction? Or fiction?
Fiction. Because
So
there's no fact checking. If you write a fictional story, no one fact checks it. All of these cartoons from the 80s, all of those G.I. Joe cartoons, I think that's all disclosure.
Oh, after I was stuck to the TV last night.
I know, but because you're an adult now watching it. Okay, so the things that went over your head when you were a kid, now you're getting it.
Yes. Now, it was fun stuff like Sergeant Slaughter, the wrestler, was a G.I. Joe, right? Like, he's officially like a character. And they infiltrate the Cobra guys, and they're like, what is this place they keep talking of? It's called the Cobra La, right? So it's the underground entrance. So they go in there, and they start beating everyone up because it's Sergeant Slaughter. He kicks everyone's butt. And then the dude with the wings, they call him Nemesis Enforcer. He comes out with a chick called Pythona. Pythona has the hood on, and you see the giant snake eyes. She takes it off. She's got the bun that with the long thing, and her fingernails grow, and they spit poison. She tries to hold you down and melt you with the poison and stuff, while the other guy looks like a fallen angel, literally beats the crap out of everyone, including Sergeant Slaughter, throws him a beating. And I'm like, oh, man, it's just right here. While, all right, it became Starship Troopers like. I don't know. Did you see that movie, Starship Troopers, where they had to like fly to the planet with the arachnoids and they had to like shoot at them and stuff? It became like that. Like, so it ends in a brawl inside Cobra La in the Inner Earth, right? The main guy is a half snake man, Globulus, and he's got the bottom half of a snake, just like Medusa, and the upper half, and it's Burgess Meredith plays him, and the good guy, Flint, is played by Don Johnson. I know this was so weird. When as a kid, I didn't care. None of this ever made sense to me. I was just like, but when this specific thing happened, it was like uber checkpoint.
Yes.
I was like, look, they have reptilian men with insectoid men with biological weapons, and they complain that humans, all right, like they ran the time before this, right? And then there was the great earthquake or great flood or something, and they got pushed underground, right? And the humans came with technology, and they're like, we're biotech. We're like connected to the planet. So he says, Cobra La, defend yourself. The actual bridge was a giant insect that pulled itself up. The rocks were like, they just look like rocks, but they were actually giant spiders. And I'm like, this is literally, everything we've ever spoken about. And it makes me wonder, like, how it got into the consciousness like that. But it's there. Your inner earth.
It's all real.
Your archons sucking out the energy, the free energy source that they're trying to keep you from, the mind control, the weaponry, the biotechnology, DNA manipulation, creations of characters of superior whatevers. It's just interesting the way this is going down. I'm freaking out about it because I thought it was one of the greatest things ever. You could watch it on Twitch, by the way. Just type in G.I. Joe 1984, and you could do that. Okay, one of the other things this week, I don't want to stick on it too long because I know when you see there's only 15 minutes. A lot of people talk about who they listen to, the channelers and stuff. And I was listening to one earlier. He's not a channeler. He is just like a shaman guy that talks, right? And he made a good point, but I checked myself because of what he said. And I realized that at the FearLess group, when we do meditations and stuff, when we say 5D Earth, like we qualify all this. 5D is a frequency, right? There's no rapture. You're here. There's a reason why you're here.
Right.
You're not going anywhere.
I don't.
There's actually no place to go.
Yeah.
That's when it gets really crazy. Like it's all right here.
It's all right here.
And it's all right now. Mm-hmm. But when we talk about going into the frequency in wave 1 and wave 2 and wave 3, I think we don't do this, but I think there's a lot of channelers and people pushing certain agendas like it's going to happen a certain way and you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do this. Look.
But I think they're all given a piece of the story.
I'm worried that I'm not worried. I'm concerned that the channelers are getting bogus information at times. And I want to qualify a statement by saying use discernment on the highest level. Mm-hmm. Don't expect anything to happen. Work on yourself. No matter who you are or where you are in your life or what you've done or not done, you're still going. There's no one not going, if you started right now, whatever your now is, like I'm going to start right now, you're good.
Wherever you are.
You're good.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're like, nah, I'm not gonna, you'll be on the long ball path. You'll just be taking the very long path there. So like a non-believer, 100%, will just still upgrade and still go through the process
don't know anything's
in
happening.
their own way.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that you'll walk around with an ET. You'll be with an elf riding an elk with, you know, Boromir with 3 arrows in his chest, and they'll still go, you guys, man, the costumes look great, but I got to catch the game. Like, it's just not going to click.
Right.
Right? They're just not going to see it. They'll think you're the crazy one, and that's fine. There's no one really left behind.
No, everyone's coming. They're just not going to realize
they're
they're
anything wrong by not being part of the wave 1 or wave 2. All that is just so we can show you as a time marker.
Yes.
Where the situation is, perhaps from the perspective of whoever's talking. Right? So I'm a mid-40 guy. When I say wave, I start with, when I say wave 1, I mean me. My wave of wave 1. I don't know how else to depict it. It could be I'm wave 4,600 billion, 40, but for me, talking to you, wave 1. There's those that are actually there before us breaking through so we can come in. But as the transformations occur and as the information upgrades, you know, the positions could be switched. You know, those that are in the wave 1 are uplifting themselves, doing the work, and then coming out of the dark and speaking to you about things that are so personable or personal. You know, it's very difficult to talk about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you lose family members and people look at you like you're crazy and on and on and on and on. But the case is we're really going through it, and then it's our purpose to give you, or to give back, to help us all do this together. I love you too. But the next round, we'll just pick it up faster than we did.
Yeah, and faster and faster. Yeah.
Until we work our way to the children.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then you're just born into the world and you're ready to start.
Yeah, it's like a plug and play.
Yes.
Just know.
Right? And each generation will work better and faster, and it'll be more intelligent, it'll come online quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's just a matter of where you're standing in your
where you are now.
Your universe.
Start now.
Yeah. So you don't have to hurry up and, I didn't do all these other things. Look, we're headed for bliss. Drop the distractions, stop the bullshit, okay? Mind your business.
Right. Be your best you.
Be the best you. Right? Stop worrying about
everyone else. Be your best you.
Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. All right. No more victims.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it sounds like, those who make it and those who don't make it. How about this? How about there's victims and non-victims, right? And those that choose to no longer be a victim, even though you might have been victimized.
How about celebrate every success? Every success is a win. It could have been, I went grocery shopping today. I didn't have food, and now I have food. That's a success. You know, it's the small things in your life. You go through one, and then another, and that's how you get through. Frank and I had a it wasn't really horrific. It was just a very busy week. You know, we had a couple of the outside cats spayed and neutered, and then we had one of the outside cats brought to the vet because she was sick. And, you know, and
this is exactly where I was going next.
You know, we're not going to really get into it with the cats anymore because I know people don't want to hear it, and we have to be careful about what we say. But it's a
no, you were like, we went to one of the cats, right? We had to get her fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the leaders over the victims. This is what happens. We get news afterwards that Blinky was had not kittens.
She was pregnant.
Right. So Paula and I completely lose it. Right. We're
hysterical crying over the phone. Like the vet told us our child, you know, and
we had no idea. He checked her beforehand, and he was looking at her leg because she has a little bit of a pulled leg.
Yeah, you know,
he was like touching her belly, and there's nothing. No, everything's good. Everything's good. And I'm like, yeah, there's no. And now we know she's out and about doing her thing, and we're like, by the gods, don't let lowercase g's, don't let her be pregnant or whatever. And everything was good and quiet. And then that phone call came, or right from the office.
Oh, it was horrible. I felt terrible, and then the vet calmed me down and he said,
There
he
was
was
this
very,
roller coaster.
very clear. And he said to me, it was hardly anything, and again, I'm not justifying it, but he said it was hardly anything. We don't do that here. We don't believe in that. We don't do that here. And that
Late term abortion.
That made me feel better for the moment. I mean, I still have issues with it, but I do feel better. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. I mean, it was just a roller coaster for me and Frank. We had a very hard time with it.
Let me explain it. She says to me after the first phone call, because the lady just goes, yeah, it had your cat was pregnant. We had to take care of it, right? So we get off the phone waiting for the doctor to call back to let us know. We go pick up one of the cats, and then that whole hour and a half, we were questioning everything. You're like, are we bad people? Are we bad people? Are we bad people? And I'm like crying right alongside you going, we're not bad people, right? Check this out. As a creator, someone who's responsible with love and caring and responsibility towards these animals that are our family. They're not animals to me. They're cute, fuzzy little baby faces, right? Like, okay, so if you let it go unchecked, you will have hundreds of little baby faces. You will have disease. You will have problems. You will be broke because you can't afford it. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Right? Like, you go through this mind thing. What I go through is I don't like taking that away from you. But at the same time, as a responsible adult and a creator who's on this planet trying to help my mother nature of the planet as an elemental, to keep nature in some kind of responsible check. There's only so much you can do before they come around with the cart and start taking them away from us, right? From the land and the area and the space. Because that's what comes next. Do you want that to happen to them? Or do you nip it in the bud? But then this happens. So the leader over the victim is the one that makes the hard choice. And just, we're not bad people. We're doing the right thing. Then, as we worked our way out of that, we were still crying. It was a mess. We get the phone call from the doctor who says, no, it was cells.
Now tell them what happened prior to the phone call. You got a big down.
Oh, so this is the point of that. All right. I want you guys to believe in yourself. Really check inside when things go awry and you could be losing your mind. Breathe and listen to the inside. Listen on the inside. Don't look to the outside like for God to come and save you, lowercase g. Oh, God. Go inside with it, because right before the phone call came, I looked at Paula and I was asking, oh, I'm so sorry, universe. We were apologizing to the universe. And my higher self looked like he was a step up higher than me, came running over and was like, no, stop. And I'm like, stop what? And he was like, listen, I go, what are you doing over there? You're supposed to be over here with me. He's like, no, look. And there were multiple cats up with them, like on a higher level, looking in like we never came. We weren't there yet. So I said to you, oh, they weren't in yet. They weren't here in the body. So like as the body was being built in the mother, or the cells were they weren't there yet. So there was no death, the way we would describe it with our language, occurred. They were there. Everyone was safe. Everyone was fine. And they were like, stop it. Like that. And then I look over at Paula after the doctor calls, and I was smiling after the doctor call. I remember I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying, But it felt better. But trusting that gut, I don't know. It did something to me. It made me feel like
more confident,
but at the same time connected to them. Because what's been happening now more with the animals around us, whoever, outside, inside.
Forget it. They're just all around.
It's become, I don't want to call it a circus.
It's beautiful.
But it's just, I go outside. It's almost like Snow White is singing a song. And I just look over, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. When we walk by that tree with the birds,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Everyone shuts up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all stop fighting over resources. There's plenty.
Yeah.
Boom. Everything stops. I come out with some food. Everyone's eating. Like this. Oscar, your cat.
Yes, he's been very, very much loving you
He
the
does
last
not,
few days.
He's never felt me from day one. We're becoming like little
Best
bosom
friends.
buddies. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Okay, you can do that. All of this. These are all things that you can do. Come from a place of that higher love and just go forth. And you're going to be exactly where you need to be to have anything that you think external is going to happen in this universe that's going to affect you to turn you into a light being or send UFOs or whatever it is you want to see. You have to go inside first and just go with the love. All right? And use discernment with these channelers. I know some of my friends are channelers, and a lot of stuff they say is prolific, and a whole bunch of it is just has taken you down those rabbit holes, and I don't pay attention to it. I literally don't.
You have a question on
What's the question? Read it to me.
Frank. Would you say that the feline diva made its presence known?
Okay, so right before the show, I went outside and I talked to Goddess Bast, right? I won't even call for Sekhmet because she's like a little...
Busy?
Yeah, she's more warrior kind of thing. The Goddess is like Uber mother, right? So I'm like, y'all need to get down here and help me with the one over here that's afraid of everything. I'm like, we need to talk, and she just looks at me and goes, "You're doing awesome." Like,
that's cool.
Like,
that's really cool.
So yeah, is her presence known?
Yes.
Okay, mother
She's all
is
around.
in Aya at all times for sure, super happy. But like cat mother, absolutely. So did they make their presence known? Yes. Is it amazing to have that relationship? Yes. One of the things they've been going on is we got 1 minute left.
It is. It's a privilege.
They've been chemtrailing the sun. I gotta get
Oh
this out.
yeah.
It's in the
Solar
title.
flares. Solar flares.
Yo, they're blocking the sun because we're getting upgrades. So the more you see the chemtrails, try to get a little sun.
Yes.
Try to get a little bit into you. Greet the sun. Take your sunglasses off. Kind of keep your eyes open and do like a little 2-minute meditation when you have some sun. And you'll see why internally that they're chemtrailing you. And don't eat any of that snow.
Oh,
it's
yes,
filled with
it's
chemicals and
metallic.
Oh, there's a metallic taste on the snow. It's disgusting. Stay fearless, everyone. It's not.
We
We
have
still
more
got a
time.
minute. I thought there were seconds left.
No, go ahead.
No, so they're spraying like crazy. We had beautiful clear skies, and then they're like, "Oh, there's going to be snow tomorrow. We had a terrible snowstorm." I'm like,
they started
not
chemtrailing
one-
terrible.
and then they
terrible.
chemtrailed through the night, and now there's like a metal taste in the air. Right? Know it for sure. That is true signs of them throwing the nanotech in your face, and then they're going to try to activate that 5G shit and just turn it on. So be aware of what you're doing. Make sure you're drinking clean water and lots of it, and ground. You have to ground. All right? Just think about earth and growing roots right into the center of it, grabbing around that ball of lava that's right in the middle of the earth, right? And just let it activate you. And then any energy that can go at you is just going to get mastered because you are the energy being.
Oh, paranormal.
And stick around because Paranormal Portal's up next with Brent and Don Lawnbeard. I'll see you guys next time.